Good morning and welcome to Stretch and Relax. Time to release tight, overworked muscles, and then at the end you've got the option of doing that beautiful, optional relaxation. Today I have got a yoga block. It's only there for assisting. If you need one, then grab one. If you don't need one, you can use a cushion sometimes as an alternative to the block if you need it for when your hamstrings are tight and you can't sit on the floor with your legs straight. It's good for that. It's also good if you don't like kneeling on a mat on the floor if it hurts your knees. Okay, so that's all it's going to be worked for. And then at the end, the relaxation, you can use it as a pillow. If you want to also grab a jumper, socks, blanket, whatever to keep you warm at the end, then please do so now. Ready for the relaxation at the end. Okay, I'll see you at the end. Let's get on to the beginning. If you want to come up onto your mat, we're going to start stood up. We're going to spread our toes, make sure our feet are hip width apart. Breathe in through your nose and just lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Pull them back and down. And again, breathe in, lift up. Exhale to release and pull those shoulders back and down. Again, just keep doing that, lifting, rolling, pulling back, getting that posture back to where it should be. Shoulders pulled back, opening those tight chest muscles. Really exaggerate the move, elevate the shoulders and then pull them down. That rib cage pulled down. Try and slow your breathing down. Move slowly. And now I want you to bring your hands to your temples. Pull the elbows back, opening across the chest. Chin parallel with the floor. Breathe in, and then I want you to hinge at the hip. We're going to tip forwards, very slight bend in the knee, until our chest is parallel with the floor. Bring the weight into the balls of the feet. Then try and push your knees out to lengthen out through the backs of the legs, keeping those elbows wide. Tummy drawn in to support your spine. Breathe in again. Bend your knees very slightly and squeeze the muscles in your bottom. Use your tummy muscles to pull you up so you're standing tall. Open up those elbows, lift the head. Tuck the tail under slightly and really pull those tummy muscles in, the rib cage down. Breathe in. Come down again into that hip hinge, pushing the hips backwards. Slight bend in the knee so we're not locking out the legs. Try and lift your elbows up towards the sky and then lengthening behind the thighs. Bring the weight forwards. Slightly squeeze the glute muscles to lift up, nice and slow. Pull those shoulders back. Back down one more time. Take your time as you go down.
The world is just
pull those elbows up. And now this time I want you to bring your arms down towards the floor. Just allow them to hang.
Now start to hang your head and bring your hands to the floor, the tops of the feet, wherever you can manage to get to. Trying to get your chest onto your thighs, even if you need to bend your knees more. You should be looking at your knees. Crown of the head down to the floor. Shoulders relaxed. Arms heavy. Feel length through the back of the legs and through the neck as well. And then start to lift your bottom to the sky and lengthen behind the knees. Keeping that chest as close as you can to the legs. And then I want you to walk your hands forwards until they come to the end of the mat. And then walk your feet back until we come into what we call a downward dog. So we're making a nice soft V shape. Push your heels towards the floor and your bottom towards the sky. Squeeze something between your shoulder blades. Keep your arms tight to the head. Head looking to the knees. Tummy drawn in. Now lifting the leg nearest to me up into a three-legged dog now. Try to rotate the hips towards me. Keep them facing down towards the floor, pushing the bottom heel into the floor and the top heel up towards the ceiling. Both arms straight. Bend at the knee and relax your toe to the opposite shoulder, and then try lifting the knee higher on that bent leg, keeping the hips square. Keep pushing that heel into the floor so you feel it through that leg that's on the ground, all the way up through the back of the thigh. And then we're going to sweep that knee through and bring your foot down to the floor. And then start to push backwards. Bring your hands outside of the foot. So you want both heels on the floor. If you've got tight hamstrings, you may need to bend your front leg. If you struggle to get your hands to floor, you can have hands to shin. Try and keep the back as straight as you can, and think about just leveling off the hips. So you want to just bring your back hip forwards and your front hip back to level off. Keep that back heel always on the floor. Then I want you to draw your hands outside of your front foot, or the outside of your calf if you can't reach far enough down. Bring the hands either side of the foot again. And we're going to bring that knee down. Now if you struggle, grab your block or your cushion, drop your knee onto it, lift up. Try pushing the hips forwards, but try not to lean too far back. So you want to keep that back in a neutral position. Relax the shoulders down. Think about squeezing the bum cheek on that back leg to help open the hip at the front. Now bring your hands back down to the floor either side of the foot. Drop the hip down further. You can relax the toes if you want on that back leg. And then I want you to turn your chest towards your front thigh. Bring your front hand off the floor onto your thigh and then push your knee out to the side, revealing the inside of your foot. And turn your chest towards the thigh and try and look to your back foot. You should be really feeling it in your hip here. It should feel nice. Never force a stretch. Just allow your breath to relax your muscles and work deeply. And then bring your hand back to the floor and bring your knee in. And then tucking your toes now on that back foot. I want you to bring your hips back. Walk your hands towards your knee and sit your bottom towards the heel. Pulling your toe towards your shin and keeping that spine long. You can get your elbows to the floor, then that's great. If you can't, don't worry, just go as far as you can. But you want to try and lengthen out through the back of this leg. And now coming forwards, again, bend the knee, hands forwards. I want you to reach round and try and pick up your back foot, bringing it towards the bottom, keeping the knee over the ankle. Keep the knee from rolling outwards, we want to pull it in, keeping it in line with the second and third toe. Try and bring your heel as close to the bottom as it will go. You should be feeling this in your thigh, your quad muscle here. And then bring that leg down to the floor. Bend that front leg and bring your knee down. You can take your leg off the block now. Just drop down. If you struggle with your leg being out straight behind, then just bend it in and sit in a 90-90 position. Hand should be in front of the shin, pressing into the floor, lift the chest and draw the shoulders back and down. Keep wriggling the toes, pulling that back hip round towards the floor, trying to push it down into the floor. Then you have the option, if you want to, of picking up the back leg, putting your thumb on the ball of your foot, reaching on the inside of the foot. Keep the chest elevated and lifted, eye gaze forwards. Stay there, or with your leg on the floor if it starts to become too much. Or then we can pull the foot towards the buttock and hook into the elbow. We can stay in this position, or we can lift the front arm and then maybe reach over and see if you can grab the back fingers. Bring the arm down, bring the leg down, and then reach down to the floor. Take the arms out as far as they'll go. Flex your toe towards your shin. Keep lengthening through the spine and drawing your body forwards. Wriggling your toes towards the back of the mat. Then slowly walk yourself up. Tuck your toes into downward dog pose. Lift the knees up. Walk the feet in slightly. Make sure the feet are level, hip width apart. Press into the palms evenly, and we're going to start that sequence again on the other side now. Squeeze between the shoulder blades, pull the tummy up, lift the bottom up, press the heels to the floor. Lift your back leg at this time into 3-legged dog. Push that heel towards the floor. If it's on the floor, really drive it into the floor, and the other one up to the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing deeply. As you exhale, try and stretch deeper into those muscles. Keep both arms straight, and then bending at the knee, bring the toe to the opposite shoulder. Lift the knee high, lengthening through the back of the thigh on your supporting leg. Swing that leg through, bring it onto the floor. Bring the back foot in slightly if you need to. Make sure both heels are down and your body goes down the front of your leg. Remember, if you struggle to bend your knees slightly to make it easier, and you can always bring your hands onto your shin. Level off the hips by pulling that front hip round and your back hip back until you find that point where you feel that you're nice and level. Hands are on either side of that front foot. And now walk your hands to the outside of your foot, or the outside of your shin or calf. Bring your hands either side of the foot now. Bend your knee. Get your block if you need it, or your cushion. Put it underneath the knee and come down. Step forwards. Lift up. Square the hips up and then push down. Bring that foot forwards if you need to make sure that the knee is directly over the ankle. Remember to squeeze the bottom to help open up the hip. Keeping that spine in neutral, you don't want to overarch to the lower back. And then bring the hands to the floor. Push the hip down. Pull the shoulders down. Then pulling backwards, lift the toes off the floor. Bring the hands towards the knee. Sit back slowly as far as you can go. Draw toe to shin. Elbows to floor. Push the hips back and lengthen through the back of the leg. Keep pulling those toes in, pulling them towards the ceiling, really feeling that stretch of your hamstring. Then bring the weight forward again. Pick up your back foot. Bring your heel towards your bottom. Push the hips down. Lift the eye gaze. Keep pushing the hips down and forwards. Feeling it down the front of your thigh. Put the foot down. Put the hands down. Sweep the knee between the hands. Take the block out from underneath and relax your leg on the floor. Remember, if you struggle, bring it into the 90-90 as your option. Press your hands into the floor in front of your shin and lift the chest. Again, thinking about pulling the hip around, so you're trying to get the heel and the hip to meet. Make sure your kneecap and all 5 toes are flat to the floor. You can stay completely still in this position. We're going to pick up the back leg. Again, if you need to roll onto your bottom and just draw it like this, that's an easier option than rotating the hip over and keeping that bum cheek slightly lifted away from the floor rather than rolling onto it. So just push the foot into the hand. Thumb is on the ball, hand on the inside of the foot, and then rotate the chest. Pull that front shoulder round to square it in line with the back shoulder. And again, all these levels can be taken or not taken. It's up to you. You can keep that foot there or put it back down on the floor. We're going to draw it in towards the bottom and hook into the elbow. So try not to roll onto the bum cheek at the back. Try and bring that hip forwards. Hand on floor, or we can start to think about lifting the arm up. Or reaching over. Keep the head lifted. Keep pulling that hip round and down towards the floor. Nice long deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then let that go and go down to the floor. Reach forwards. You may only be able to get your elbows to the floor, you might not even be able to get your elbows to the floor. Just keep gently wriggling those fingers further forwards. Breathe in. Think about pulling out of the hips and pulling the chest forwards, and then reaching the fingers further forwards again. Try lifting your bottom away from the floor on that bent leg and really pulling the hip on the straight leg down into the ground. You're going to feel that around your glutes. And then walk yourselves up slowly. Sweep that back leg in, bring your feet together. Hold on to your feet with your hands. Think about pushing your knees towards the floor. Shoulders down. And then just lean forwards, keeping the spine long. And if your knees are quite high, just get your forearms on your inner thighs and gently push them down. Don't force it, nice and gentle. Or you may be at the position where you can get your arms onto your calves and push. Or elbows to floor. Try not to overarch the back. Pull the shoulders back and down. Keep focusing on pushing those knees towards the floor. Pulling out of the hips and pulling forwards. Slowly rise up. I want you to open up your legs now, one to one side and one to the other. And this is again when you're going to need your block or cushion if you have a tight hamstring. So when you sit up on the block, it's much easier to get your legs straight. Okay, and they don't have to be really super wide. They can be wherever you can get them to. If you haven't got a block or something to elevate your hips, then just bend your knees slightly if you struggle. You want to make sure that the toes are pulling towards the shins and you're pressing into the heels. Put your hands behind you and pull your shoulders back. And then rolling your inner thighs towards the floor, draw your chest forwards. So when we talk about PNF stretching, where we contract the muscle, the antagonist, the one that's opposite to the one we're trying to stretch, so we want to squeeze the tops of our thighs to help release the underside, the hamstring. So contract that muscle and push the backs of the legs into the floor, toe to shin, press into the heel, breathe in, roll forwards. You can bring your hands forwards if you want to, or keep them behind you. Exhale. And keep doing that stretching where we squeeze the tops of the thighs, toe to shin, push into the heel, press the backs of the legs into the floor, draw the tummy in, pull out of the hip and pull yourselves forwards. And again, big breath breath in, lengthen, and release. You can reach down towards the ankles, try and push your legs apart further. Let those muscles ease out gently. And then make your way up slowly. Bring your legs in. We're going to make our way down onto the floor now. So if you want your block, if you want to put a jumper on, socks, anything, now is the time to do so. And then we're going to lie down onto our backs. If you prefer to lie on your side, you can. It's up to you to decide what the most comfortable position is for you. Put your head on something if you want to. If you are lying on your backs, think about drawing the knees towards your chest, forming, just giving yourselves a hug. Or you can do this lying on your side. Make sure you're holding onto the shins or the backs of the thighs rather than putting pressure on your knees. Tuck your chin towards your chest to keep length through the back of the neck. Try and hug those knees just a little bit tighter. If you haven't already, maybe close your eyes now. Think about breathing into the nose and out through the nose, not the mouth. Relax your shoulders. Keep the tension out of the shoulders and neck muscles. Now bring your feet to the floor if you're lying on your back. And if you have lower back issues, just take your feet apart so they're the width of your mat, and then bring your knees together. Arms by your sides. Just feel some support for the lower back in this position. If you prefer legs out, then take your legs out. Turn your toes out.
As you breathe in, really fill your lungs completely. Big breath in, expanding the rib cage, the lungs filling them. And then completely empty them as you breathe out through the nose. Allow the rib cage to soften and feel the back of the ribs pressing into the floor. Just keep that flow of breath in deeply. And out. Just feel that chest rising and falling in time with the breath, in time with your heartbeat. Gradually everything's slowing down. Think about lifting your shoulders up and then pulling them down away from the ears to lengthen the neck. And let's think about where we hold our tension in the jaw, neck and shoulders. Think about relaxing the jaw by passing the lips. Dropping the shoulders down into the floor, rather than having them elevated away, just allow them to soften down. Allow the rib cage to soften as well. Tummy muscles are soft. Allow your hips to open out. Another place we often hold tension. The glutes as well, so just relax the muscles in the bottom. Align your breath with your mind and body and recenter. Now I want you to just roll onto your side, onto your right side away from your heart. Bring the knees in towards you.
And start to make your way up to seated by pushing your hand into the floor and lifting up. Take a seat. Sit up tall, shoulders down. Breathe in to the space above your head. Bring your hands off the floor to your chest, palms together. Tip forwards, taking a bow. And lift. Open up your eyes as you lift your head.
Welcome back. Give yourself a clap. Hope you enjoyed that. Well done. Thank you for joining me today. Or on catch up. Let me know how you got on as always. And I'll see you very soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.